Every night, she locked her doors, switched off her lights, and slept alone. Or so she thought. It started with something small, a missing spoon of stew, a bowl not as full as it was the night before. But when her food began to disappear every midnight, spoon by spoon, pot by pot, she realized something, or someone, had been sharing her meals. And what she found when she finally stayed awake to catch it will make you question what truly hides in the shadows of Lagos nights. If you love dark Nigerian horror stories like this, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Now, turn off your lights, hold your breath, and listen carefully. The night was unusually quiet in Ojodu. The hum of generators had faded, and the last buses had rolled off the road. In a small, two-bedroom apartment, Adie sat on her sofa, eyes half on the TV and half on the pot of soup cooling in the kitchen. She lived alone, by choice. Lagos had taught her that solitude was safer than company. After a messy breakup and years of toxic roommates, Adie treasured her peace. Her neighbors rarely spoke to her, and she liked it that way. By midnight, the lights flickered as PHCN seized the power again. Adie sighed, grabbed her phone's flashlight, and padded barefoot to her bedroom. She didn't know that while she slept, someone or something was awake. The next morning, Adie woke to a faint metallic clatter. She frowned, rubbed her eyes, and went straight to the kitchen. The pot of stew she had left half full the night before was now nearly empty. She blinked. Had she eaten that much? She opened the fridge. The rice bowl she had covered neatly with foil now had a spoon mark through the middle. She checked the door, still locked. The window too. Her heartbeat quickened. Maybe I was half asleep and ate last night, she muttered to herself, trying to laugh it off. She poured what was left into a plate and forced herself to eat. But something about the leftover stew tasted wrong. Not spoiled, just disturbed. The second time it happened, Adie took precautions. She cooked jollof rice and sealed it tight. She turned off the kitchen light, double-checked her locks, even pushed a stool behind the kitchen door. Then she went to bed. By 2:13 a.m., she woke to a soft click-clack sound. At first, she thought it was rats. But rats didn't open lids gently. She froze, listening. The sound came again, a faint metallic scrape, then the creak of the fridge door. Adie's blood ran cold. She grabbed her torchlight and tiptoed out of her room. Her phone camera trembled in her hand as she switched it on, trying to record. She peeked into the kitchen, nothing. Everything was still. The food was untouched. She stood there, waiting, breathing shallowly. Then, as if to mock her, the spoon on the counter rolled slowly and fell to the floor. She screamed. By morning, she called her landlord. He sent one of the compound boys to check for rats. The boy grinned, said maybe Madam Daydream, and left. But Edith couldn't sleep again that night. By the third day, Edith was determined. If something was eating her food, she was going to catch it. She cooked a whole pot of egusi soup, thick, rich, and steaming. Enough for 2 weeks. The aroma filled the house. She placed it on the stove to cool, then deliberately left the kitchen light off. But this time, she hid her phone camera on the counter, facing the pot. At midnight, she woke again. The same sound. A faint scrape, clatter. Edith sat up, heart pounding. Then she saw it, a shadow passing the kitchen doorway. Slow. Careful. Human-shaped. Her breath caught. She rose, barefoot, and tiptoed forward, clutching a broom handle like a weapon. The sound of gentle stirring came again. Someone was eating her food. Edith's throat went dry. "Who's there?" she shouted, flipping on the light. The figure froze. A girl, maybe 16, skinny, clothes torn, eyes wild with fear, stood by the stove, a spoon halfway to her mouth. For a moment, the two just stared at each other, one shaking with fear, the other with hunger. Then the girl dropped the spoon and ran toward the back door. Edith chased her out into the night. The girl darted across the compound and disappeared behind the line of water tanks. Edith followed, flashlight shaking in her grip. "Stop. I said stop," she yelled. Behind the tanks, she saw a torn piece of wrapper, and then, under the staircase, a small opening, just wide enough for someone to crawl in. When she bent down, her torchlight caught a sight that made her stomach turn. There was a makeshift bed made from old sacks, a half-burned candle, and a plastic cup with her own name printed on it, one she had thrown out weeks ago. And beside it, a small, frail body huddled in fear. "Please," the girl whispered. "Don't beat me. I was only hungry." Edith lowered her light. The girl's face was gaunt, her eyes red from sleepless nights. She looked like she hadn't bathed in weeks. Edith's anger melted into confusion. "You've been living here?" The girl nodded. "Since the rain started. I hide during day. Only come out when it's dark." "You always cook nice food." The silence that followed was thick with shock. Edith looked around. She realized the faint noises, the missing items, the spoon she thought moved by itself. They all made sense now. It wasn't a ghost. The next morning, Edith called a nearby shelter. They took the girl in, promising food, care, and counseling. Edith watched as they drove away, still trembling from the encounter. Her home felt different now, smaller somehow. That night, she sat at her dining table, staring at her untouched meal. The silence was complete again. And yet, when she heard a faint clatter from the kitchen, she didn't move. She just smiled sadly, whispered, "I hope you're eating well, wherever you are." But outside, under the same staircase, the candle flickered back to life. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.